I've been having the best day. I woke up and I just felt so much lighter, and I knew this moment was coming. I knew it was coming because it always happens when I am going through a period where it feels heavy, where things are re-arising. I know that is because I'm right on the edge of a breakthrough. Every time I've quantum leaped or quantum jumped into a completely new timeline before that, it's not like I've necessarily gone through another dark night of the soul, but it has felt like that. It's felt heavy and it's felt dense, and often it's when I've been tested with other people's energy. Now, I feel like so many of the videos I've created really have been talking about love and family and things like this. But the thing is, like, these are very impactful things about life. I do not take any of these things lightly. With that being said, I'm at this point in my life where I want to let that all go. I never want to release anything from a place of regret and a place of avoidance, and I really don't think I do. I feel like if anything, like, I hold on to things way too long. At least when I let them go, I know that's not for me. I know I have to let this go. I've said before, when it came to letting things go, I just had a hard time doing it. And I could go into the psychological reasons and go into the way I was raised, all these things, why I've had such a hard time setting boundaries, but that is not the topic of this video. So I have been detaching, right, from this old self. And the universe or whatever will always try to tell you something through a million different ways, through people. If you pay attention to certain conversations that arise, the universe is trying to tell you something. You know, you can pick up on it and you can try to listen. The universe will always want what is best for you. And it is so clear that I've been holding on to things that have been weighing me down and have preventing me from becoming this new version of myself. So when I've been reflecting on my family and I've been reflecting on past relationships, because I was trying to understand them and I was trying to make them work. If you can't be yourself and that compromises your sense of self, then it's costing you way too much. I love it when I remember who the fuck I am, because no one is going to remember it for you, who the fuck you are. I really don't say that from a place of ego, but the thing is, the amount of work I've done on myself, the way that I will always sit with the emotion, the compassion I give other people, the empathy that I give other people, the understanding that I give other people, I know that is a blessing. If you are in my circle, you're my friend, if I love you, it is a blessing because I am a genuine person. I give so much. I am real. All of these things, I know I am a blessing, and I see myself that way. I feel like I've re-emerged back into the purity of my energy. And when I'm in the purity of my energy, I know who I am. I don't have anxiety. I don't have these voices in my head. I feel I am very confident because I've earned that confidence through being who I say I am. My confidence is not fake. I walk with my head up high, but not because of my ego. I walk with my head high because I know where I'm going. I'm focused. Why would I have my head down? Why would I have my head down, right? Like, it's not this ego thing. I think sometimes people see people, they think, oh, you think you're all that. I do think I'm all that. And why should I have to lower myself to fit other people's narrative to make them feel comfortable? I'm not doing anymore. I'm done playing small. And I had to come to this realization first. You were playing small. But here's the thing. I had no idea. I was always like downplaying and acting stupid and all these things. This was a tactic that I learned in high school. I learned to kind of play stupid a little bit, because the thing is, you can see who's real that way if you just play stupid. And also, I mean, this is a little bit an off tangent from like what I'm trying to say in this whole episode, which is this whole episode is going to talk about becoming your highest self in a way that's like identity shift. You need to shift the identity. Also, give yourself fuck you permission. Give yourself permission. Have no shame. I feel like I've been going through all these things. It's been heavy and talking. I even did a whole episode talking about shame. I felt all these different things. I'm leaving that behind. I'm leaving the old story behind. I'm leaving the old narrative behind. I'm leaving what other people think of me behind. I'm leaving my past behind, what happened to me and how that made me someone I wasn't behind. I'm leaving all of it behind because you know why? That was never who I am. I am detaching from this identity that was never who I was. I kept talking about this resistance between me and my higher self, and the way I present was like not like my soul, which I do feel like is one, just because it takes time to create things. It does. Like, it takes time to get comfortable with the camera. And I do always say, like, a camera is a reflection of us, like it is a mirror. So of course it's going to mirror back things to me and to us. That's why I feel like when I'm creating a more in harmony, I get to learn about myself, right? But also, I was feeling that resistance because I felt like I was surrendered, but I was not fully surrendered. It is so funny to me how you will think that you're in internal union. You will think that you are fully surrendered, and then the world will show you, look, there's more ways that you are self-betraying yourself. There's more ways where you could love yourself more. And instead of having shame even then, because I was feeling down because I had this epiphany, I had this realization, why Are you just trying to make it work with your family? Again, like, why are you going out with them and giving into their perfect illusion facade that everything's perfect? Why, when you talk with them, are you still protecting them? Because why they watch you and you get uncomfortable? So they can watch it and they can get uncomfortable. Why are you hiding your own truth? That's self-betrayal, because you have compassion for other people, you have empathy for other people. I'm realizing my backbone is getting stronger, and that is because I'm deepening my relationship with myself. I want to be soft, I want to have compassion, but if that compassion steals the compassion for myself and the empathy for myself, if my giving to you has to take from myself, I'm not doing it anymore. They say women should not become more selfish. Even I made this video the other day, and you know why I made this video? Because, well, first of all, I was procrastinating, because sometimes I do that, okay? And I'm working on it, right? Like, I'm working on a million different things. I also just made this video because I'm just being silly. I'm really trying to let go of my perfectionism ways when it comes to creating and just be sometimes, like, not have to put together this perfect edited piece, which I love doing. I love being creative and I love providing value, but sometimes, like, I just want to be silly and, like, who cares? Like, just have fun. Go lip sync to a song. It's not that deep. And I was making it to be like it was so deep, but this girl commented saying how, or just something about, like, I don't even know, like, giving me this whole lecture about how you're using your looks. How am I using my looks, for example? I literally I don't post myself in a way that favors the male gaze. I just post what I want to post. I just realized, like, oh, she was just triggered by, like, the way I look. Like, the way I look is the way I look. If I'm not maybe, like, covering up or 100% like things that maybe people deem to be sexual objects or something, like, that's your problem to go figure. Don't see my body as a sex object, right? Anyways, off tangent. Sensitive topic. Not really. I can laugh about it because the thing is, like, this doesn't affect me. Nothing affects me. That's the thing. If you know who you are, nothing can really affect you. But what does affect me is other people's energy. When you are open, you are susceptible to other people's energy. That's why I like creating, because if someone says something like, I have a force field, first of all, karma, I have a force field around me. If someone sends karma, it ricochets off me. I don't even feel it. But is when I am in physical proximity to someone and, like, I am letting them in and say, like, again, going back to the example of my family, being around them energetically, especially if, like, you physically touch someone, I'm very sensitive to energy. So if I physically touch someone, I can feel all of their negative energy on me, and it does take a while to get back to the purity of my energy. Now, also on that note, you don't need to be in physical proximity to people to feel their energy. But what I've noticed with me, and it's not the same for everyone, like, some people can feel everyone's energy through the screen, but I feel like I do have a force field on me where I don't feel that unless I have had, like, a soul contract or something with that person. I will feel their energy. What I've realized, I was going through this thing with my family, and I was going through this grievance again of letting it go. Well, figuring if I want to let it go, because when I feel like in a place where you can have a very strong mind, but you're in a place that's like dysfunction, and then you have anxiety because of that, and then people treat you like you're the problem because you have anxiety, and then you react. Like, I felt ashamed of myself for that, but I'm letting go of that old narrative. I'm letting go of that story. I know the hell I am. I know that all that's dysfunction. I very well know that when I'm alone, like, I have so much clarity. I know what's going on. So, like, we're not analyzing this anymore. We're letting it go. We are letting it go. I will lose everyone. I will lose anyone. I will not lose any part of myself. If myself becomes compromised, no, I'm not doing it. And I don't give a shit. I did not give a shit if that makes me selfish, because my whole entire life I have tried to be everything for everyone and people pleasing, and it was because I was so broken. I was broken. I am becoming whole, and that is a beautiful thing. The creator wants me whole. I want me whole. My soul wants me whole. It's not until I become selfish that I can. And being selfish, first of all, is not in a way that other people are selfish. It's being selfish in a way that's, I'm being selfish with my time. I'm being selfish with my energy. I will still always have compassion for people. When I, walk past someone, I can see them because I can't, I do catch eyes with them because sometimes I just focus on my own lane, And also, people don't like when you look at them walking down the street. I feel like from my social experiment, people just get uncomfortable. So I'm just like, whatever. I just won't look at people walking the street anymore. People don't want human connection. People don't want IC. I'll just focus on my own lane. So that's what I do. I usually just like focus on my own lane. And I mean by being selfish, it's not even selfish. It's just like filling my own cup, filling it up. Because why would I fill up other cups from people? They are just taking energy drainage and energy leakage. I have lost, I would say, like, this last month, it has been rough. To be honest, this last past month has been rough. I had hardly gone to the gym. I set out to go to the gym. I felt like that affected me because I feel like I make promise to myself and I don't follow through. That starts to affect my relationship with myself and affects my self-esteem. And then all of a sudden you start to tunnel and you start to spiral, and you can get stuck in this place where you just feel like, well, why am I in this darkness again? Why do I have this dark energy? But that's why it's so important to protect your energy, to not be this open faucet. I always say I'm the flow, and I feel like I had these doors open to people because I'm like, well, you know what? Surrender to the creator's plan. If it's divine plan and that's flow, so just go with the flow. So I'm not meant to close these doors. But the thing is, I was constantly trying to understand the why, understand the how, understand the spiritual and the physical aspect. I felt like I was not loving people for them and not seeing them as whole beings if I couldn't love them the way they are and I could not accept them the way they are. I don't know, like I just did not have the mentality where you have to be on my level to be in a relationship with me. It's kind of like that new Noah Kahan song that came out. What is it called? There's this lyrics and it's like, look at you girl, crossing state boards with your shadow, trying to run away or something. Turns out that you're still an asshole. What's the lyrics? It's not your fault that you worked on yourself and you became someone else. And sometimes I feel like, oh my god, I listen to that, I was like, is that what my brother probably thinks of me, my siblings' perspective? And it's literally gut-wrenching. It's heartbreaking to me, especially when it comes to like my brother, because we used to have such a good relationships. But it's like realizing when you elevate, you can try to bring people with you, but people don't want that. Like people do not want to be changed. Like it has to be their idea. And a lot of times, like even you can be a self-development person, it's not someone's timeline to ascend. Like to me, if I'm not seeing something, I would genuinely want someone in my life to come to me and say like, why are you doing this? For example, I have this friend and he said to me, just wondering, I've been noticing you're putting more effort into your physical appearance lately. And he's like, when I met you, you were so free. You never gave a shit. Like you were so free. And that's why I was like, wow, you're so different in that way. You're so special. I'm like, you're right. I have been kind of paying attention to that because before I was like, literally was like, people have to listen to me. I would walk around homeless. Like I was so unhinged. It's not like I put my value in my physical appearance, but I know that is a factor of like how people perceive you. And that is true. I felt like he called me out in a way that made me reflect. He's not trying to put me down. He was like having appreciation for my soul and like really seeing me and seeing a behavior and a pattern that I'm doing and calling me out. And I love that because I'm like, first of all, I felt so seen, but also it was true. Like I didn't really see it until he said that. I didn't really acknowledge it to myself. Why are you doing that? You know? So that's just one example. I am willing to see anything that is getting in my way. And when I said that and realized that, that made me realize, okay, well, if you really mean that and you are a truth seeker, you value the truth above everything, then why are you holding on to these karmic attachments? And then you blame other people for holding on to karmic attachments or in karmic relationships because maybe they have easy access to money or certain things. Or, you know, a lot of people are in karmic relationships or in relationships. A lot of marriages are not in union. They're in these relationships or marriages and they say it's love. They tell a person it's love. Maybe because it's just easy. It's easy and they think that's love. There's no obstacles. Usually true love actually has a lot of obstacles. I'll tell you that. A lot of karmic obstacles because it's teaching you to listen to what's within. Anyways, that was off tangent. So to step into your newest self, you have to let the old self die. I've let so many of my older selves die and I've let go of people, but really it's detaching from the old story, the old world. And in doing that, you become untouchable because you say, there's nothing that anyone can do to hold anything against me. I do think that sometimes like when you do carry, like we all carry light, but there's certain people that actively are trying to heal themselves to become the light to heal people. Like there's healers on this earth. They inject that into whatever they're doing. To be a light worker, you have to also be a shadow worker. Like you have to become familiar with the shadows. So you have to be able to address and face your own shadows. How can I ever help anyone else walk through their shadow, get to this point of self-acceptance and get back to this point of who they are and get through this fragmentation of self if I don't accept my shadow and accept these things? It's an acceptance of yourself and acceptance of all the past in your life that I think you both can not only release the past but allow yourself to create the new self and the new timeline. I've always talked about unbecoming and becoming, and it is a lot about unraveling to your truest self. It is becoming in a way where you do get to create and have choice and choose this new reality. It's this dance of free will and destiny. Clarity is something that I definitely have and I've had, and I feel like I'm in my strength again. Like I was not even in my strength a couple of days ago, and that's okay. okay, because you know why? I'm back here. And there's nothing that I will be embarrassed of. Like, I'm happy that I made the things that I did. I said the things that I did. If I was in the fog, I was trying to create in the fog, and I had not had that fog for so long, which was why I felt so defeated by it. But that is okay. Now we're in this phase. We're letting it go. We're letting it go. We're letting go. All these connections I have reflected on and continuously reflected on, I don't regret it. Like, it has been very time consuming. I think the reason why I also reflect on this a bit, because it was not just reflecting on love. I already chose myself. I don't need to be chosen. Well, there may be a part of that still lingers. The conditioning does sometimes like have a clause in you, but you can actually choose to become aware of it and not choose that. But I think I was talking about these topics not because I obsess about these things. Like, if I obsessed about love, I would reply to these people that breadcrumb me, but I don't. I choose silence. I always choose silence. And now I don't just choose silence. I choose to finally release everything and everyone, because even though these have caused me confusion, but the point is I don't regret it, because I was also just reflecting on these because of my philosophies and because I am on this path of like the spiritual seeker, and I'm on this path to talk about these and inject into my art. So the clarity when it came to that, I'm someone that like relationships are very impactful, especially romantically in my life. Actually, I was looking at my birth chart and I was saying something about relationships causes like, I don't even know, like sudden, like they're just very dramatic for me. I'm meant to be in completely transformative relationships, and that's my path. Because of that, kind of tried to understand it spiritually and intellectually and try to like figure out what is this, because I've always operated off of clarity very well, right? Like, I've always wanted the truth. I've always wanted clarity, and in finding clarity in these situations, love, not that that was my priority. It was like I was also finding that clarity within my work of like, okay, how am I going to write this story? Because I know there's the truth, but it's like I want to have some of that backbone to the spine of the things that I create, right? When you're writing a story, I feel like you kind of do want, and so I've just been living my life trying to figure this out. I don't know, like, it's just surprising me as I continue to go along. That was a long beginning to just even begin to start to jump to this other timeline. It's letting go of this old version of you and having that acceptance. I have this realization that I can change at any time. I can shift at any time. I can decide to be different. If I created something a day ago, I said something, okay, well, that was a day ago, right? Yes, that message maybe can help someone with where they are, but that doesn't mean that's where I am. I'm constantly changing. I'm constantly different. And maybe if I had a moment of weakness, none of us are constantly in strength. I actually find it's so distasteful when people are out here acting like they know all the answers. And I know why they do this. Listen, like, I know psychology. There's so many people that go position themselves as authority because that's what they do when they want to sell you something, right? But the thing is, like, I'm just trying to do what my soul wants, my soul needs, and that's vulnerability. I think that can help someone personally. I do, more than just presenting like you have the answers behind closed doors. The love that you present online is not really like the love that's going on. Also, so many people do that. So many people have platforms that I know and I've seen, and they present in a way of relationships, or they present in a way that's like they have this kingdom, or it's like healthy masculinity, and I promise you it's not. It is not. Behind closed doors, it's fake, it's toxic. Sometimes these people only do this to get a rise out of someone. People have done this to me. I just think vulnerability and not being separate from what you do in your work is the future. I really do think it is. I'm a very visual learner, and I find when I'm struggling with identity, I do like to create this visual kind of like roadmap. I'm very visual. I will kind of like remind myself, who are you? What are you drawn to on your soul level? And I think this is kind of like how you can also find your taste. It's really like looking at things and pictures, and because the thing is, like, we are not separate, and I think that you should be able to like look at other pictures of other people. Even like, I think women should be able to look at other women, and they should not look at themselves as separate from that other woman. Like, they should find themselves in that woman. I feel like I'm not like anyone because I am original. I'm not like anyone. Everyone's special and they follow their own unique blueprint, but we are also connected on so many different ways. There's certain women that like I see myself in. I see the highest version of myself in. Now, if I've said this in front of someone like, oh, I can see myself in that person, or I feel like that's the way I would act. I said something about this movie. There's this really popular movie about a love story, and I said something to someone once, like we were just talking about that show. First of all, typically I do not watch shows shows that are trending. I really don't watch TV hardly ever, but I typically maybe watch a movie like really a couple times a year, which is crazy because I love movies. I actually want to get into that. But I'm very sensitive to energies. I'm very aware of like what you feed your brain, you consume affects you. It affects me deeply. Also, I was into a little bit of a scrolling rut. It brings me down. Be intentional. It's not that consuming is bad, just like be intentional with it. But I did want to watch the Carolyn Bessette and John F. Kennedy love story. But honestly, I was so shocked. I'm like, this is what people are saying is a love story. And I know there's some people that are like, oh no, I get this. But a lot of people were like, oh my God, the love they shared. What I got from that, first of all, another tangent, whatever, embrace the flow. What I got from that is that he chose his ego over her. She died because of his ego, because he wasn't willing to kill his ego for the love that he had for her. And she gave up everything for him, and he could not kill his ego. And that's what I got from that show. So maybe they shared love, but he wasn't willing to kill the ego. That's an impactful message. I don't think a lot of people understood that was a message, but I think it was. I feel like that was actually a very impactful message because it's almost like a reminder. There's so much fairy tales about love and stuff like that. It's a reminder to choose yourself. And I did feel like I resonate with that because I feel like that love they shared, and I was like, oh my God, this beautiful love. I felt like I had a relationship just like that, and it died because of his ego. Like he put his ego before the love. Like there was that true love. And I also saw this TikTok, and it was saying how everyone wants like 80s or 90s love, which I feel like I freaking love like the ancient love stories. Like I do genuinely love like that. But I'm redefining what love is, because why does love have to be chosen? Like why does love have to be receiving from this God? I feel like those are the last chains on me, because I've always just been taught to receive love and it's outside of yourself, and that this fairy tale of love is outside of yourself, but the love is within. And this goes back to this identity and becoming the highest version of yourself, because when I start to get clear on the highest version of myself, I would always want to have my heart open. But was she having anxiety or this over a guy? No. And that chose his ego? Like, no. You get to that point, you're like, right, thank you for my brain kicking in, which is sad, because we should follow our hearts and we should follow our souls. I'm just realizing I am following my heart. I'm just redefining what love is. Talk about this in the last video a little bit. I guess I'm just like readdressing it. I tend to talk about things when I'm going through them. Authenticity, right? In that clarity, I start to say, okay, well, what's stopping me from showing up as her? Actually, when I think about it, you're right. Like, what the fuck? I'm not putting up with that. I don't care anymore. I'm done having compassion for other people. I will always have empathy. I will always be myself. But my cup has to be full, and that is not selfish. I said becoming more selfish, but it's not, because I cannot do anything I want to do. I cannot create for the world. I have these big dreams. I do. But the thing is, through these dreams, I want them for myself, and I want that for my inner child, but also I'm not here for just myself. And I do believe that I can make an impact, even if an impact is such a small percent of people. I do, but I can't do that unless I just can't even provide for myself with what I'm doing now. You have to be first selfish to become selfless. I saw another short. I need to stop watching shit. I need to get off the internet. I think her name is Emma Grede. She has helped many people build billion-dollar businesses, if I'm correct, like help the Kardashians build Skims and all this stuff. I'm pretty sure. There's this thing that really stuck with me. She said how I talk to all these women and they want to help the world. They want to do all these big things. They want to give back to the world, but they can't even like make money for themselves because they don't want to receive, because they think they're being selfish. You need to make money first before you can give money away. And it's so true. It's like, how do you want to build a $300 million school or do all these things to help people when you don't even like charge your worth? And it's true. You have to not give a fuck what people say. You have to do you and do it unapologetically. You have to have no shame. The world will try to shame you. All world will also try to shame women. You know, men do like to act like, oh, you know, the world won't let us have emotion. Actually, from what I've seen, the world and basically actually women are begging you to have emotion. So I used to feel like, well, the world never allowed men to have an emotion to feel. But I don't know if that's true anymore, because looking around, women are basically at the point of begging men to have emotion. But now they're realizing like, oh my God, why am I begging men to have emotion when their top emotional availability doesn't even match what I can give myself? So it's like basically it's just baggage. And they're realizing like, oh my God, this is just dead weight. That's what I'm realizing. Okay, whatever. I loved these people. I would have given my potential away to these people. I should have given to myself. People always talk about how the good woman woman. For a man to build like $1 billion empire, you need this kind of woman by your side. But the thing is, do you know that most men could not keep a woman like me? That maybe that sounds cocky, but it's true. You know why? I would threaten their ego. If I saw a guy, his ego got threatened because of my masculine energy, which is just yin and yang, baby. I want more masculine energy. I've hardly even tapped into my masculine energy. I've hardly even begun. If he's threatened by that, that's not gonna work. I don't want to threaten your ego. I want it to be shredded in pieces without having to ask. That's masculine energy. Masculine energy is not about pumping muscles and having Instagram stories. That's not masculine energy, babe. No wonder women are not attracted to men. I feel like a lot of these like people on social media, I'm just being honest, like, yes, you create your own realities. I respect people that put themselves out there. I respect people that build something. I do, because it's like, you're not being a little bitch and not afraid to build something. But at the same time, if you clearly you're doing it for validation, for attention, it's like, I don't respect you. I don't respect you at all. Why do you want to be the princess? Okay, that was rude. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But there is a crisis in masculinity. There is. I also feel a lot of women are becoming like more boss babes. But there is one thing I've noticed, like, I don't agree with. I just said I want to be more my masculine energy, but I also feel like feminine energy and masculine energy is misunderstood. I am straight, unfortunately. Just kidding. I am attracted not really to people, but I realized like I really am attracted to men. Real men. They're in touch with their feminine, their healed feminine, and their real masculine energy. So when I talk about masculine energy and feminine energy, I'm talking about it from a place of fluidity. I have certain friends or acquaintances, I would say more acquaintances. They are in a man's body, but they have more of a feminine energy to them. A feminine energy that's not like a wounded feminine, it's a healed feminine. And because of that, like, it is attractive. Maybe I'm not sexually attracted to them, but I'm like, okay, this is attractive. Like, I feel safe with you. I kind of feel like that's rude what I said with Instagram. Like, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to be put in this box. But what I'm attracted to, someone who is very passionate about something, doesn't have to be like building something with their hands. I actually feel like my dream person would be someone in film or something. I'm their muse and like obsessed with taking my video and helping my visions come to life. Seriously, that's my dream, actually. Someone who is not wounded, right? Like, I just feel like there's so much wounded people in general, females and men. And I deserve to mash men a little bit because I feel like men sometimes are the problem, but also I do advocate for them. So like, relax. Anyways, like, this is going to become a page where we're not talking about men anymore. I am focused on my goals and my stuff like this. I feel like a weight has been carried off my chest. It is breaking a generational cycle and a generational curse of choosing yourself. I really do see more and more how that is my path. Looking at my females in my life, my grandmother, and how my mom in certain cycles, like how my mom chose her, you know, it's just, there's a lot of things in my life that have shown me how clear it is that this is my path. And it's just been really a lot to reflect on and heartbreaking, because it's almost like I've had to make that choice. Not like the door is closed, not like I won't ever have kids, not like maybe I won't get married, but the thing is, it's starting to look like I won't, but that's starting to look like a blessing. Like, oh my God, thank God I have this perspective. Thank God I have this clarity. I don't want to ever be like, men are trash, men are this, men are this. I'm always open to soulmate love or whatever, but something that fulfills my cup up, because I'm just naturally giving as well. I don't want anything to take from me. If someone doesn't see me, my soul, then that's fine, but go away. Like, genuinely go away. So that's all that I'm saying. I've been talking about this on these podcasts, not because it seems my everyday life or things like this, but just because these are heavy topics. These have been the heavier topics I was thinking about like all winter, all year. So, but I'm happy because now I feel like I can put them to rest. I feel like I really want to do everything I can to stop getting in my own way. I feel like sometimes we can look at our environment and we can feel so paralyzed because we don't know how we're going to get there. But do not let your current circumstances impact your vision and where you're going. Do you know how many times I've been in situations and people have laughed at me? If I told you my dreams now, people would laugh at me. Like, sometimes I do say my dreams publicly and people say, don't tell your dreams to everyone. Like, that's a really regurgitated and well-known thing. But I kind of do believe putting your dreams out there in the universe. Who gives a shit if people laugh at you? Yes, evil eye is real. But again, like, if you choose not to feel it and you have a force field, just, you know, don't feel it. I don't tell my dreams to people that I'm around anymore. But if I'm creating something and I say something that's authentic, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit if they think you're all that? Who cares? I think like living a double life, maybe you don't think you're living a double life by hiding certain things, I kind of feel like you are, because say if you're around someone and you are having a conversation and you know that they don't understand, like, we can create our own realities. They don't realize about manifestation. They're maybe stuck in this like rat race and that's their God and that they think that's the only way to live life. Okay, so you probably know this is not the person to have a conversation with, obviously, about certain things, about like, okay, I want to write the best film in the whole world, or something. Like, I don't know, that's just an example. You're not going to say these because they're going to look at you like, what the fuck, like, who do you think you are you a narcissist? Like, why do you believe in yourself so much? Like, it's literally going to trigger the hell out of them. So I get that. If you're around someone like that, you also don't need to like downplay yourself to fit into their level, because that has an impact on you. The words you speak has such an impact on you. It's just acknowledging like, yes, these are my dreams. Yes, I can get there because everything I desire wants me to. This is my soul's blueprint, and following that desire is not following delusion. Delusion is the biggest myth. People will say, I'm delusional. Well, guess what? I'm the one that gets whatever I want. Maybe it's not exactly what I wanted, but I do manifest like a motherfucker, and I don't even try. I don't even try, because I feel like there's so many people that like watch manifestation videos or these. I've never even watched a subliminal in my life. Those probably do work because it does reprogram your subconscious. You know what I do? I decide and I believe and I know, because I understand that we are spiritual beings. I understand that I incarnated for a reason. Getting through all of this like self-concept has been other people's projections. No, actually, I can do that because I'm unlimited, and who cares? Don't look at where you are. If I told you my dreams, my goals, looking at where I am, for so long I just felt so stuck because of this. Paralyzed. Don't focus on the how. The how is not required. The knowing is required. It will happen in miraculous ways. Things happen in miraculous ways. Don't focus on that. You are good enough. You are worthy. You are this infinite soul being. Tell yourself that till you have to believe it. But also believe in yourself, because that is the truth. Your soul is the truth. And sometimes that does mean purifying your environment until it's nothing but your energy. And only when it's your energy do you know the purity of who you are and your soul. Also, just start where you are. I felt like I was so above creating certain things, and I felt like to create something that I wanted to create so grand and so noble, like I had this large vision for the things I want to create, right? But I just was like, okay, well, once I get money or once I get this, I was always like waiting for something. But that's why I just became stagnant. And yes, I was focused in other areas and going through things, but at the same time I also was making excuses, like both things can coexist. So I made myself remain stagnant, and I just kept waiting, like, when's it going to be my turn? Well, you know what, I think it's probably going to be your turn once you get over yourself and just create with what you have now. Who cares if people think it's embarrassing? I think in the past, looked back at things I've created, and I've just been like mortified, truly mortified, because the thing is, like, who allowed me to have a phone at like 14 and have social media? I feel like that traumatized me, because we should not be posting before our frontal lobes are developed. Seriously. Anyways, I feel like I traumatized myself from that and some other things. But the thing is, you just have to get over yourself sometimes and like just be whimsical with it and just have fun. And I do think that, especially when it comes to social media, not like everyone is focused on social media, but obviously it is one of my special interests, because I'm very fascinated in the digital age. I just believe it reflects like the time that we're in, and I think it's a very interesting thing, and I think it is spiritual, and I think that we are meant to integrate to the digital age, and it's not something to be avoided and to act like you're above it. So I think that sometimes like you just have to be so silly with it, but also be serious about it. People don't realize that like your ability to be silly is your ability to be serious with yourself. I am silly and I'm whimsical because I'm serious about myself, because I've surrendered so much to the flow that I just like, oh my god, I'm just here right now. It's funny. Life is so funny and strange and weird, and it's not that serious. It is serious, and this is the fact that people experience pain and there's horrible things, and you want to be part of that change. But also, unless you, I don't want to say turn a blind eye, but also you kind of do have to turn a blind eye to like the suffering, the pain in the world, to focus on like creating your 1%. It's not that I'm ignorant, or a lot of people are ignorant to the injustice going on in the world, but if you just focus on that, you are becoming distracted, and that energy is being consumed with darkness and negativity, which is real for so many people, even though it's so confusing to figure out what sites are real to watch, what's the truth. Because I do feel like if you have a certain platform, which I don't feel like my platforms have been significant to talk about that before, if you do, I do feel like you should share your values and stuff, because so many creators like just don't have values, and I don't like that. They'll support any brand, they'll do any brand partnership, and that most of the time means standing standing quiet because these brands support demonic things. So I do think it's important to have opinion and to have a voice. But if that is your main focus, then that's robbing you of creating your reality. And the truth is, like, in this day and age, if you have a large vision, like, social media can take you very far. And sometimes that means just creating silly things all the time because it's like enticing people with the surface or whatever, which is not like necessarily intention, but understanding a lot of people that watch short form, not everyone, because I watched it too, but it's, you know, they are maybe potentially a little bit more surface level versus someone who can watch a longer form podcasts of intellectual thought and exploration and consideration, because it challenges you to not have a dopamine hit and to actually like question yourself. Sometimes like it can pull people into the depth, and the more views and the more eyes on you, you know, the more that you can, it's just like one foot in front of the other. No one has to get it. I felt like I had to approach things for so long from this like intellectual standpoint and this point of like deep respect, because I always wanted to be respected. I feel like in my field, that's why I actually feel like I kind of like went to medicine to begin with, studying to be a doctor, because I was like, well, that's really professional. I mean, there's a million reasons why I did that, but professional field, which is why I think also it's just like I want to do something that is respectable. I've always wanted to be like respectable in my profession, but also when it comes to media, you just have to give value, but you also have to be like a little bit whimsical and a little bit silly with that, because why are you so serious? Life's hilarious. It's horrible. Yes, it's painful, but it's also hilarious. The more that you just embrace where you are in the present and embrace that flow, that will get you further than you know in many areas in life, like not just when it comes to the digital age, but I think especially when it comes to the digital age, I think that your ability to surrender will be a reflection in the future of your ability to succeed. Continuing on the topic of waiting, continuously waiting and like looking for signs, that is looking outside of yourself, but that's not how the universe or whatever you want to call it works. Why would you look for 3D confirmation, right? Like you create it, you make the decision, and then it will reflect in your 3D, not the other way around. If you were looking outside of yourself for something, then you need to turn it around and look back in. Just going back to what I was saying about how I was looking at people and like, oh, how are they in these karmic relationships? This is disgusting. Like, how are they choosing this? Because it's easy, because maybe they have access to whatever. Look at me in my life. What am I choosing? Why am I still hanging on to my family? Why am I still trying to lift my sister up to create, hyping her up, saying you're pretty, trying to teach her how to the art of magneticism, teaching her all my things? Why am I doing this? That is because I was holding on to karmic attachments. That reflects, if you have a problem with something, look at it. Why are you frustrated? Why are you triggered? Oh, you want people to follow their soul. You want people to let go of all these karmic cycles. Well, you're not doing the same, so let go of that. You look it back at yourself. That's the only time you look to the outside. But do not look to the outside for confirmation. You create it, and then that will appear. Sometimes like I love going thrifting because I just like turn my mind off and like put an audiobook on and get unique pieces and get 100% cashmere, 100% wool or silk, or like I have so many good pieces I've got, and they're just like unique and they're just vintage and for so cheap as well. But also I like going because I like to be like, okay, well, what do I need? And be intentional. I'm actually looking for some sweaters or some things like this for spring. So I will almost like sometimes create a visual like thing of what I want, and I would say like, oh, I'm going to find this. And I will find things that it just makes me laugh. It does make me laugh. Like I will manifest through thrifting because like it is like the universe is presenting that to me, and it mind boggles me even with that every time. I'm just like, wow, because I forget it all the time. I forget that no, really, like we don't need 3D confirmation. Like we can literally create our own realities. I forget all the time how spiritual I am, how we're spiritual beings, how we're so infinitely powerful. Okay, also there's this thing where I'm like, okay, I can create my own dream reality, but also like you just do have to put the work in. You do have to put the reps in, showing up one foot in front of the other, but also know your worth. Because I feel like sometimes like I am like, I know I can create this, I know I can do this, but I still was like chasing opportunities, and sometimes zooming out a little bit and be like, no, I know my worth, like I know my worth. I am not going to settle for less. Like really holding that integrity also can really pay off. Instead of like chasing anything, chasing a person, chasing opportunities, it's really just become that person. So ask yourself, what would the person that would receive this opportunity that I want, how would they act? Like how would they move? Don't attach it to someone else. Like do never try to emulate someone else. That's actually demonic, and I don't know if people call that like destiny swapping or something. You cannot take someone else's destiny, but you can get karma for trying to. There's people I've seen like trying to emulate me. Not like I even have a huge platform, but it's weird. Copying me, copying things I'm saying. It's just imitation. I was friends with this guy, but we were not really friends. We were friends when we were younger. I said hi to this guy at a party, or he said hi to me and took a Polaroid picture with me and my camera and this girl that I had no idea was a girlfriend. No idea. Also, on that note, I will never have beef with a girl. I'll never pit myself against a girl. I'll never put another girl down. Like, if there's ever a situation, no girl, like I never will put myself against another woman. But the thing is, like, I never did. I never have. Even when I said, like, oh, certain people are dating certain people in my past, I'm not someone who's jealous of other women because I don't see myself as separate, again, as other women. The thing is, I had no idea, and she came up and she's like so pissed. I'm like, girl, I like literally just, she's just asking me like what I'm doing in school and all this stuff, not flirting, like literally like two friends catching up, quick conversation. This girl comes crazy, and then I go and be like, well, where's my camera? And then she smirks, she smashes it in the bush. And then what happens is this girl, this is insane, I don't even know how she figured out where I lived. This was a different province when I lived in Nova Scotia, and I lived in this building downtown, and she broke into my car. Like, she broke my window, she stole my license, and then she put my broken Polaroid camera in my car. That's why I was like, is that girl? Like, what the fuck? And then what happens is this girl creates a fake profile pretending to be me, and I start to get messages, dyes her hair, looks like me. It was so crazy. My passport was gone, everything. She had my, like, all my license, my IDs, everything. She literally pretended to be me and created this false identity trying to be me, going around saying she was me. It was insane. So basically, just summarize everything. To become the best version of yourself, you have to detach from this old version of yourself. You have to detach from this old version of yourself. You have to let it go and accept that your life is what it is. If something's karmic, it drains your energy, let it go. Like, stop over analyzing, stop living in the limbo of it. Just let it go. You can try to understand something for your own psychological development. Here's the thing, I love studying psychology. I love having direct experience. I do think that sometimes, like, why I do keep myself in perpetuated pain or like limbo or something like this, and I guess when I do that, it's hard to release something. But I also think there comes a time where, like, no, you have the clarity you do now. It's just that I don't view myself as separate from what I'm creating. So that's why it's almost like I have this devotion to what I'm creating, and that love story was like intertwined with it. But it's just that this love story has been about me, right? Like, it's about oneness with myself and creating my dream reality, my dream life. Women are taught to not put their careers above being a mother or being all these things, but the thing is, it's not. Like, it's literally choosing, it's not a career. It's like you're following your birthright, you're following your womb, you're following your purpose, you're connected to the portal within. That's what they don't want women to know. That is feminine energy, that is connected to your birthright, and that's what we are meant to do. Women are the birth of creation. So realize that, like, realize how infinitely powerful you are. Don't chase after things. Just remember who you are. Recognize that if you start showing up as her, start acting like that. If she would walk down the street, what would she wear? Maybe you don't have your dream body yet. I don't. Because the thing is, I haven't focused on other areas. I've not worked out. I will get my dream body, but still, it's okay. What would she wear anyways? How would she show up? How would she walk? Visualize it. It sounds superficial just to focus on the external things, but I do feel like when I'm focused on the external, not looking for the outside validation, but for example, if like I want to focus on elevating my looks, and then I will maybe turn to makeup or turn these things that's not maybe inside of myself, but it is helping me bring me there to the higher version of myself. So first, like, having a clear vision of it does help me. And deciding you're worth more. Just decide. You can literally just decide to become the highest version of yourself. Change doesn't happen overnight, but you can make the identity shifts, and then the actions will follow. Stop feeling shame. Say, no, I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm allowed to do this. I'm human. Give yourself permission. A huge part of shifting into your new reality, a massive part, is letting go. It is about the self-concept. It's about how you view yourself, which is why it's so important to let go of people that compromise how you view yourself. How you view yourself and your clarity is your currency. Because if you view yourself in a way, you are not chasing these things outside of yourself, because you realize, I am that. If you are not that, make that decision to become it. Because you know why? Who's stopping you? Who's saying you cannot be who you want to be? No one. Oh, maybe they will, but who gives a shit what people think? You are allowed. You have the authority, inner authority over everything. So be selfish. Trust your inner authority. Don't give a fuck what people think. I always say, oh my god, my nose is running because like I literally been drinking kombucha and it's like the histamine or something. And now I realize that I guess like kombucha is not even healthy, and I thought it was healthy, the superfood. I'm so confused because I've been studying superfoods my whole life. I'm like, what the fuck? I have to look into this. I will report back. The thing is, you are worthy of your desires. It does require breaking through so much shame, so much layers. Even if you still feel the shame that still comes up, or anything comes up, anything self-doubt, just say, screw it, fuck it, I'm leaving it. Like, I'm done carrying this heavy weight of this narrative of understanding of different perspectives. Life, no, baby. Like, no, baby. We cannot help anyone unless we help ourselves. We don't need to overthink. Like, I am the thought daughter. Look at my threads. I'm constantly all day, every day. And the thing is, I delete half of them. Like, I don't delete half of them. I don't post half of them because I'm like, I need to chill a little bit. I don't. It just comes natural to me. It's authentic to me, right? I am CEO thought daughter. And I'm saying this. I'm saying that sometimes you need to not think, and you just need to do with what you can, but act with the clarity. Like, don't go out and chase and be like, did this. Who is your higher self? It's not that you need to always show up as your higher self, but that higher self is you in its purest form. You are infinite. You are worth more. Let the limiting beliefs, let the old story go. And I think that is how you jump into your new timeline. That is how you quantum jump and quantum leap. It's all about identity shift. I remember the first time I quantum leaped, and I have not done it in a long time, to be honest. It was like when I was on this really long flight, and for some reason I just felt the need to meditate. And before this quantum leap, I was like releasing something. I was releasing a person. Well, I thought it was, like, I didn't release it fully, but I thought I was releasing this person, and I did for a while. Anyways, it's always before that quantum leap and that identity shift and that change that you go and you get reminded of things. Past energies come up. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but other people's energy is not your energy. Sometimes when you're actually starting to release something, other people's energy comes in because it's like they know, their energy knows that you're detaching for good. Like, their soul can feel that you're letting go, and then they start to like actually reflect. Just because someone's starting to realize something, that doesn't mean you need to hold on to it. And just because you're reminded of something, of a love you once shared, doesn't mean you need to hold on to it. Let go of anything that causes you confusion, because clarity is the truth. Clarity is what's real. If you can face clarity, you can have everything. Just be clear and be true to yourself. You can literally manifest and step into your highest timeline. Show up, be unapologetic, have no shame, don't give a fuck what people think. Half the reason I swear is because I'm just showing you it's a rebellion. I do what the hell I want, I do what I want because I'm not hurting anyone. My actions don't hurt anyone else. I'm in my own lane, baby. Remember, the power is within you. You don't always have to be in this state of high vibe, all this stuff. That's the thing. I like showing the parts where I'm weak and I'm not this, and not that I'm weak for feeling or but the thing is, I'm glad I do show that, because it shows that I'm freaking real and I'm actually going through the things that I'm saying. But we did not have to overthink. We just have to do and feel and fail and mess up, and failure isn't a freaking illusion. Okay, I hope this all made sense to the right people. It will, but I feel good. I feel so happy. I'm so excited for the things I'm going to create. I have just been showing up today. I don't know. I just wanted to talk, and I just wanted to talk about this idea. I never thought about it, never wrote anything down. I am talking like this. I feel like it's working better for me at this period of my time in my life. It comes natural to me. So like, why am I trying to put myself in this box? We just need to be who we are today and show up. And that's what the highest version of ourselves would do. She would not put herself in this box. She would be a little bit free, but still showing up. Okay, so I think I'm going to end this here because I don't want to lose any more footage from batteries dying. Bye. Have a good day. Please comment if you said something about this. I love reading people's comments, even though I'm really bad at replying to them. I actually really do. I love hearing people that resonate with the shit that I say. I have to say, for the most part, unless people are triggered and bashing me, because I'm like, okay, well, you're just giving me good karma. Like, I receive karma through, apparently, I think my thing is I actually do receive karma through money. I get money every time someone gives me bad karma. So